Hello again. It is me, Meg A. So, we're going to try this again because yesterday when I was trying to record a video outside because it feels really good outside, a whole incident had taken place. They were okay. It was just really loud and it just kind of threw me off. But, yeah, they were okay. So, I have gotten quite a few questions about like what languages am I learning? Why am I choosing the languages to learn? What made me get on this journey of studying multiple languages, all that good juicy stuff. So, I figured I'd do like a video about giving you maybe like a little background, letting you know what languages I'm learning, what provoked me to finally start my language learning journey, all that good juicy stuff. And then, I'll do other videos on whatever else. Hopefully, no cars would be driving by. They might get a little loud. I am sitting outside. It's too pretty of a day not to sit outside. But yeah, let's just get into it. So, the background of why I'm finally deciding to get into language, like study languages and get into language learning, is because for one, it's always something that I've always wanted to do. I just wasn't in the environment that supported that like that. Especially growing up, I was that annoying person that probably annoyed the exchange students that I'd always be like, oh, what is it like in your country? What language do you speak? Say this, say that. So I was that was me. Yeah, that was I. So I remember I made it when I got into high school, I had to take Spanish. So when I took Spanish, uh, it didn't really hold me. Then I got to college and I had a foreign language deficiency, which meant that I had to continue, and take a foreign language. So I opted and took Spanish. I didn't have as many options at the community college that I was at. It only offered Spanish, French, and I think Latin. So I took Spanish, and I started the journey there, but it still didn't. It made me excited, but it didn't make me love it. So it's like I liked it, but I really, it was like a thing of, it was like my option. Like I had that option to do so, and so I took it all the way. Took it at University of Memphis. Everything, Spanish conversation, all that. So I leave college and I can speak, but I didn't have a strong foundation like I thought I had. I thought I had a much more stronger foundation in language learning than I actually had. And it made me, and then I wasn't surrounded by people that spoke Spanish or whatever, so I didn't really use it. So once I did, every now and again, I would talk with someone that spoke Spanish. It'll kind of be like a thing of, oh, okay, I um I can understand them, but I'm not. I'm finding myself not able to think in that language. So I started realizing, like, in the midst of talking to them, and then I met some people that speak Spanish from like the European Spanish, and that I found out there was the different dialects. So I started realizing, like, okay, what were they teaching me in college? Like, what were they teaching me? Because I know in college they cut out so much. They cut out the sotros. They cut out many different things, and here I am needing to use it, and I couldn't use it. You see what I'm saying? So I that's what really turned me off from language learning as far as schooling goes. And if you're taking them in school, make sure you're doing your outside studying and like incorporating some extras, because it's language learning is not going to hold up, especially here in the States where it's really not going to really hold up like that, because they only going to teach you from a curriculum and from what they want you to learn or what they feel you should know, when there's something that a lot more that you really should know. So at that point, I remember I I think it was after my son was born. I decided, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna learn some languages. So I went on a whole binge, bought a whole bunch of stuff, like a whole like living language and like all the languages that I wanted to learn. It's like 13 of them, y'all. Not all at once. Not all at once. So I bought like 13 of them, and I would dibble and dabble in them here and there. But I wasn't just like strictly like, let me study them or whatever, and then life got to life. And so just kind of would here and there go into it, still watch videos of like my favorite YouTubers and that are polyglots and everything. And I'm just watching them and I'm like, man, why I keep putting that goal off of learning a language? So here we go. As time goes on, grief hits. Started going through my grieving process of dealing with my dad when he passed. And then I finally was like, when I finally just started taking off layers and realizing what makes Megan Megan again, it came back to these languages. And I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna learn these languages. That's just a non-negotiable for me. I started separating things in my life by negotiables. And I was like, there are some things that if you left this world, would you be okay not having accomplished? Learning a language, just learning to speak to someone from a different culture, different, like in other countries, and only being able to communicate in English. For me personally, just as only speaking for Megan, I could not. That's just a non-negotiable for me. I have to. Like one day, I have to be able to call somebody and may have like a friend in Germany, and we're talking in German. I come visit you in Germany. We go visit each other in Russia. We go visit each other in China. You know what I'm saying? So these are all things that is basically something that I've always wanted to do, and yeah, finally decided, like, you know what, that's a non-negotiable. Your girl is gonna do it. Okay, so that's what led me to where I'm at. Sorry, it's a car. That's what led me to where I was at maybe like a year ago. So a year ago, I started dibbling dabbling in the different languages that I had to see which one I wanted to hone in on. The only reason I still stay with Spanish and keep Spanish in my self learning is because I do have a background in Spanish. I do want to learn Spanish in its entirety, not just because of what they told us education wise, the curriculum they had. I want to learn it in its entirety. And so I decided to Spanish. Yes, it is one of the four languages I'm learning because your girl is learning four. And yeah, so I knew Spanish was automatically going to be one of them. So I started dibbling and dabbling in various languages. Boom, boom, boom. Here we go, here we go. And then one language that I used to say, that I used to be like, oh my God, I wouldn't want to learn that. And aren't they mean and aren't they this? Your girl fell in love with it. Your girl fell in love with German. That used to be the language I used to be like, oh my God, are they angry? Oh my God, are they? Here I am in love with German. I think about German every day. Out of the four languages I'm learning, I can't even lie. And this is someone who, something I forgot to mention, is that back in the day, like when I was younger, I loved Asian culture. Still do. Love Asian culture. My biggest goal of the reason why I want to learn like Chinese and Japanese is because for that reason. So I was basically like loving the fact of their writing system. Their writing system is so different, and it's one of the oldest, one of them, and it's just unique. So that's what made me want to learn Japanese and Chinese and everything. So I was sitting there like, how is it I'm in love with this language more so than my Asian languages? But yeah, I fell in love with German, and oh my God, this has been my favorite. Can't lie, the don't get me wrong, the grammar is stressful, and I'm just starting the grammar. That's how stressful it is. But we're not gonna go there. But it's not deterring me because I love. It's something about the language I love. It's like it's my fits me and my personality. Which I'll probably do another video on that later on. Like choosing a language, like how I ended up choosing it. Because if I sit here and talk to you guys about this, we'll be on here all day. Because that's just genuinely how much I do like languages. So German ended up being German. It led to German and Spanish, and I remember I was watching something and I kept hearing the language. It's like I was watching something in a different language and they started speaking, and I was like, wait a minute, what am I watching? Found out it was Russian, and I was like, man, Russian is beautiful. So I got to doodling dabbling in Russian, looking into the culture. I actually interacted with some Russians, and I really do like. I feel like Russian fits my culture or fit my personality as well. I'll say that because they're very them and Germans. I notice they are very much like reserved. They're more in. I'll put it like this: they're communication wise and how they are. They're more into more of your intellectual. You're more reserved. They want more genuine relationships, and that's me. So, and then there was the fact of the different writing systems, Cyrillic. I was like, ooh, that would be so cool to be able to read in Russian. So, what about that? So, that was what made me choose Russian, fell in love with Russian. And the other one we already know is one of my Asian languages, which would be Chinese. I chose Chinese over Japanese, but I love Japanese. Trying not to squeeze Japanese in. But Chinese, because for one, the grammar is very simple, and being that I'm studying German right now, I figured that in the midst of studying German and having that grammar and then having Russian grammar, I was like, okay, Spanish grammar, I already have the background to know it's not that hard. So I was like, Chinese grammar, not that hard. So I was like, yeah, we're gonna go with Chinese right now because I heard Japanese grammar can be a little zesty. So I was like, let me just focus on those. So yeah, that's how I was led to those four. But don't think it's hard to not sit and look at my other languages or hear somebody speaking Brazilian Portuguese, which is another language that I love hearing people speak. It's a beautiful language, y'all. So it's hard for me to hear Italian. Italian's another one, y'all. Your girl need help. So I'm just over here just being a whole language hopper. Like I'm just hopping languages, y'all. Help. And so I am like, that's how I ended up with those four. I'm still trying not to pick up Swahili because I do want to know them roots. So I do have Swahili on the list, and I'm trying not to pick it up. Trying not to, y'all. I'm trying to stick with my four and stop hopping because it's like, oh, it would be cool to talk to this person, that person, yada. So yeah, that's the whole issue with that. And the reason why I finally decided to is because I was like, I couldn't, in my head, I was like, so what if I'm 38? You got Steve Kaufman, you got people out here that are like his age and older. It's never too late. So do not get the mentality that you can't do something because, oh, I'm too old now, or oh, this, or oh, that. You're never too old. I'm 38 and I'm getting ready to start my language learning journey. And I'm getting ready to learn like 4 languages slowly but for surely. The ones that I know I'll probably pick up on the quickest would be Spanish, of course, and German. Um, Russian, I feel like Russian, once I get that Cyrillic alphabet down, still processing my way through it. I feel like that would be something great. And then Chinese, yeah, we're working on that right now. I'm getting ready to start. I've been kind of doing a little bit of the pinyin and just basic greetings, but I'm ready to start with the characters. So yeah, that's just my goal, and that's what led me down the journey of being like, let me just finally do it and stop talking about it and stop being like, oh, every time I see somebody or somebody speaking a language and I'm all like googly eyed, like, oh my god. I'm like, let me just get and do it. And also, a part of me was thinking that I couldn't like self teach myself a language because I'm like, oh, I need structure. Your girl do need structure. I'm a military child. My dad was in the Navy. I'm a military child. I need some type of structure. But that's on me though. So for anybody that's feeling like you want to learn a language or whatever, do it. Just give yourself structure. If you're a person that needs organization, do like I do. I take a week. The week prior, I think I did like a short of them, like where I have each of my languages and I have what I plan on doing in those languages. May it take me, and I just have the month on it. For the month of October, these are the things I'm focusing on. May I complete them in a week? May I complete them in 2 weeks or whatever? Those are all my goals that I have set to accomplish for the month of October. I created me a syllabus. I have like I'm working on creating me a set time because I know sometimes throughout the day, my day varies each day. So it's like creating a certain time where I'm specifically studying. And if you guys are interested in seeing those, like study with me videos or whatever, I would do those. Also, um, yeah, I will go over what I'm using for each language for anybody that wants to know, like as far as Russian, if you're learning Russian, German, Spanish, and Chinese. If you want to know what I use, I would definitely be glad to share that with you. But yeah, that's what has led me down the stop holding yourself back and just go ahead and learn these languages. And for those who feel like you need schooling, okay, that's fine. If you feel like you need schooling for structure or whatever, that's fine. But I personally, here in the States, I'm speaking from US in the South, no. We're just gonna sum that up. No. And because I'm gonna be honest with you, here in the states, it's very rare you find somebody that speaks various languages. It's very rare you find people that are so interested in languages or have that same genuine love. Like it's been hard for me here in the city that I'm in to actually run across somebody that is like head over heels to kind of give me that motivation to learn the language, like having that outside force of being like, yeah, I have a group of people I can speak German with, or a group of people that we can speak different languages with. It's been hard for me to find that here, and I'm seeing that it's more common here in the States. We do not, it's just us, like we don't really in the US stress things like that. We just stress them in a curriculum, and that's the sad thing about it. And to be honest, and it's not many it's not many of us blacks that actually learns languages like that here in the States. At least I haven't ran across any. I have ran across um, people that have spoken many different languages or polyglots, but they're not American. So it's very hard to find Americans that are just so in love with languages, let alone that they are black and actually, because I mean, let's just be honest, and I'm just being real here. Like I said, from the South, we don't really stress that, and blacks really, that's something that, to be honest, my race don't really try to get into that often. And if you are into it, I would love to connect with you. But yeah, like, yeah, that's the rant because I mean that's a whole nother rant that I could go on because the school system, I feel like the school system is starting to fail people. That's the reason why like I'm trying to get my son into saying different languages. He knows certain things when he hears me talking like German, he will say it. And it's just getting him to understand the difference in languages. because he's sitting like, why? Because sometimes my son be like, why are you talking like that? It's like, this is a different language. He hasn't grasped the concept of it being different languages. So when he does, that's going to be a goal, like getting him to speak. And also, being that I love writing, I am looking forward to the day where I can get on here and I'll show you guys my journals in different languages. That's going to be amazing. And this is someone that I tried to get to do languages, but they just don't do them. I'm not going to put him on bus mode like that. But yeah, it's my husband. I'm busting him out on camera. Yeah, he doesn't really, since he came outside during my video. He does not. He says he wants to learn languages, but no. Mm-mm. So yeah, if you guys are learning any one of those languages, comment below what you're learning. Hopefully, I gave you guys some motivation to learn a language. And I tried recording this yesterday, but it was a whole it was a whole mishap yesterday. I was like, right in the middle of my video, someone flew off their bike, and I was like, what? Glad they're okay, but it threw me off, and I was like, wait a minute, let me stop this video, get my lizard, and go help. So, yeah. Comment below what languages you're learning, what journey you're on language-wise, what languages would put you on your journey, and how you're going about studying. Let me know, and we can all go down this journey together. Have a good one.